Hello everybody, welcome back to another reaction to Charlie Brooker's Screenwipe. So I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last episode, but that was the end of Series 1. Series 1 actually only had 3 episodes. So we are starting today with Series 2, Episode 1. Oh god, no. No, fuck the TV.
Hello, I'm Charlie Brooker.
Whoa.
This is Screenwipe, a feel-good show about television.
They're gonna taste right.
Oh good, this is hardly ever on.
I can hear the sound
I've
of
seen this one
frosty
before.
in me plate.
It's not a plate, it's a bowl. Ooh.
Or the Empire State.
Even a man with cancer of the prostate.
They're gonna taste great. They're gonna taste great.
It looks like he's having a fit.
It's a classic.
What do you feel like doing first thing in the morning then, eh? Having a bit of a wash, yeah? Eating a bowl of cereal, or watching somebody having their guts sawn open on live TV?
Oh no.
Maureen's surgeon, that's Mr. Boater, that's the man just a second away from you there, is taking Maureen's stomach. He's going to wrap it around her esophagus and then ties in a big knot.
Yes, that's
Oh.
City Hospital, which, as far as I can tell, is aimed squarely at psychopaths who want to start the day with some bracing graphic imagery.
So I'm using this silver
Oh.
hook-like retractor to just hook the liver out of the way.
Now, call me overcautious, but I can't help thinking it might not be a great idea to interrupt a surgeon as he performs keyhole surgery live on TV.
Mr. Boater, where are you at the moment in the procedure?
Go on, Boater, flick a bit in his face.
Mr. Boater, is it all right to ask you another question whilst you're working?
Why don't you toss him a ball as well, see if he catches it, yeah?
The
If
hell?
that hasn't put you off your breakfast, what about a poke round a prison in the
I'd be
leeringly
mad if I was supposed to
nasty
get the surgery.
behind bars?
What was it like in here?
Horrendous to be perfectly honest.
The whole, everywhere
It
covered
covered
in-
all the walls with excrement. It was all on the floor. The urine was on the floor in the basins, and it was quite horrendous.
And you actually had a really bad experience coming in here, didn't you?
Yes, before we had the actual the door fitted here, we had to come in and serve in the food. And I came in the one day, and the smell was so strong that I was actually physically sick through the mask I was wearing. So.
BBC One's
Jesus.
baffling morning parade is presumably meant to appeal to the same audience as
Please
Ghoulish
don't eat my baby.
Human Interest magazines. Human Interest, of course, being a polite term for ghoulish
really fucking
curiosity. That's why, alongside live gut shots, you'll also find a slew of nasty pre-recorded shows to wallow in. Heartwarming fare like Britain's streets of booze.
Now, I'm not saying there isn't a place for this kind of thing on TV. I'm just saying 9:15 in the morning. Are you joking?
Yeah, that's...
Don't know how to stop.
And if that's turned you suicidal, then tough. Death itself offers no escape from the harrowing morning slot. Even the deceased get a look in depressing forensic doc, Leave No Trace.
Oh no.
And in the jacket pocket was a knife.
That's not a knife.
By this stage, I was getting very, very excited.
Yeah, not quite as excited as the audience, I'll bet. They'll be flicking themselves sick to this. For my money, the best show ever broadcast in this weird rubberneckers morning slot has to be the hilarious Beat the Burglar.
Beat the burglar.
Burglary is never pretty, and it can happen to anyone at any time.
Unless you're homeless. The premise is simple. Find an average family, get them to show you where the valuables are, pop a load of cameras around the house, and then invite a former burglar to come in and teach them a gentle lesson in home security. Go on, get the toothbrushes.
What's down here now?
CDs, video camera.
Oh yeah, video camera under the bed.
They just have some guy come over and trash their house.
The overriding feeling I'm getting at the moment is complete impotence.
There's an interesting philosophical thought experiment going
That's
on.
the whole show.
As the householders are asked how they'd react if what they'd just seen happen had happened.
I can't even think of a decent analogy, but he's in the inner sanctum of my family. He's right in my kid's room. Does this actually shock you, or would you say you would actually expect this of a burglary?
Yeah, you see this mess? How upset would you be if it was really there?
It's reconciling What is being done today for the purpose of getting us to understand what can happen and realising what really can happen.
It did happen.
Speaking of reconciling, they get to meet the burglar afterwards in a sort of feel-good laugh-a-thon.
It is frightening to face you. Obviously, I've just destroyed your house.
A completely surreal situation.
Oh, say. Anyway, there you go.
What a weird
Morning
show.
TV for vultures. They might as well replace it with footage of a gazelle carcass, all shot from the viewpoint of a bird circling slowly overhead. Mightn't they? Oh, here he is, world's thickest man. Well, where's a freak wave when you need one? Fall in you.
Making a television programme, absolutely any television programme, is easy. As easy as falling off a log.
Oh.
Actually, it's not. Even shooting that little bit, in which all I had to do was fall off a log, was a far bigger ache up the backpipe than you might imagine. First of all, we had to pick a location for the log scene. We could have shot it in the street, but that's a pain for various reasons. You have to inform the police you're doing it. There's lots of random street noise, which tends to things up. And worst of all, which is often fatal. Puns! Oh, and members of the public tend to call you a ponce. Speaking of members of the public, it's a good job we didn't decide to illustrate this piece with pointless vox pop interviews like this. What's it like being a member of the public? What? Because we have to get them to fill out a release form giving us permission to broadcast the footage. We also have to position the camera so we don't give undue prominence to shop fronts, and make sure he removes that stupid baseball cap with a bloody great logo on the front of it. Actually, using members of the public is such a pain, we decided to cheat and use one of our researchers instead. Look, there he is in the pilot we made earlier this year. Loads of productions do this. We're only telling you about it because we're so bloody postmodern, we're about to cut to a shot of me typing these words into the script itself. Anyway, back to the log, and to avoid all that nonsense, we decided to shoot this bit in a park. Battersea Park, to be precise, which meant getting permission from Wandsworth Council and buying a log, obviously. But before I can get on and fall off it, we had to do a health and safety check. Yes, even falling off a log can be dangerous, so before we turned up in the park, our production manager had to fill out a form detailing all the potential risks involved.
Why is she doing it more? Okay.
Health and safety insisted on this crash mat, which means
Marker's
before we
crazy.
can shoot anything, the director and the cameraman have to hold an interminable bloody discussion about how to frame the shot so that it isn't visible. For sake, will the Right, we've been here for over 3 hours now. We've decided we're going to paint out the crash mat using a computer in the edit. Anyway, assuming the light and the weather holds, which they very rarely do, I'm finally ready to fall off the
Move that tree.
At which point the battery runs out because equipment hate human. Equipment want revenge. Meanwhile, I've been standing here so long, my revolting skin is starting to shimmer with sweat, so the makeup artist has to come in and touch me up while I make small talk with her. How are you, yeah? Do a lot of makeup, do you? How's the makeup business? How is it, yeah? Finally, after several passes, we think we've got it in the can, which is just as well because the light's fading, but the real fun's only just beginning. Yes, because here in the edit suite, joy upon joys, when we find the bit we need, the boom's in shot, so it's useless. Actually, to be honest with you, the boom wasn't in shot. We were supposed to film a bit where the boom was in shot, but we genuinely forgot. So we had to go through the rigmarole of filming a boom against a background and comping it into a shot for this shot. What a pain in the arse. Anyway, given the number of obstacles involved, little wonder that TV can take an age to make.
I'll say.
Exactly how long that age is depends very much on the type of TV you're making. Studio-based shows are generally quickest, as it's an environment designed to make the process as free of random elements as possible. A violently dispiriting talky bumcast like the Jeremy Kyle Show, or a cheapo open-the-boxes quiz can shoot several episodes in a single day. A non-studio comedy, such as A-list Lovey Fest Extras, might manage to bag 5 minutes in the can.
I haven't seen this.
While a flashy cinematic hour-long drama like
seen this.
Casanova can expect to eke out a mere 3 minutes a day. 3 minutes a day! It's like pushing a pea up Ben Nevis with your nose. Yes, the sorry truth is that while TV may look simple on the face of it, behind even the simplest bit of fluff lurks a huge logistical nightmare and hour upon hour of back-breaking toil. Although fortunately not for us presenters, we just get weighted on hand and foot. What the hell is this? I said I wanted a diet drink, you come and bring me a load of sugar-packed shit. What the is wrong with you? How dare you? Actually, how dare you? Actually, how dare you? How dare you do this to me? This is a insult. Where did we find you anyway? I don't recall taking an advert out in Cretin Monthly, Burke Today. I'm going to talk to you like this for an hour.
Her
because
face.
that's what you deserve. OK? You're fired. You're fired from London. Just get out.
Loans. I know nothing about loans.
But I'll sell them anyway.
Hi, Phil.
Yeah, hi, Phil. What the f*** are you doing?
Yeah.
Then wanted to put his credit cards and bank loans into one loan with easy repayments.
I reckon all this financial talk's making Phil thirsty. He's going to have to get a glass of water in a sec.
Yes, we do our best to find the most appropriate.
Told you.
Thousands of customers every month.
They sorted then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Start making repayments.
Happy days.
Oh, well, that's that sorted then. Time waits for no man, or so they say. Yeah? Well, try telling that to Doctor Who.
Oh, fuck. It's true.
Yes, the second series has been and gone, and so has Billie Piper, who not only gave a fantastic performance, I think, as Rose, but also allowed viewers to play a fun game called
She was great.
Which Bit of Her Face is the Biggest?
It's her eyes. I reckon it's her eyes.
No, nose,
Nostrils, eyes.
mouth, lips.
Now let's get something
I'd say
straight,
eyes.
okay? I love Doctor Who. It somehow bypasses the cynical, nasty, gnarled bit of my brain completely and plugs straight into my gurgling, overgrown child. I
That
love
actually
the fact
surprised
that it's
me.
a big populist drama driven by
Knowing you.
ideas.
What's happening?
One of them must have found the right time window. Now it's time to send in the troops.
Plus, it scares kids shitless. And I hate kids.
Oh, I
so
forgot
the
that
longer
one.
they spend cowering in terror, the better. But nothing's perfect, so while Series 2 is still fresh in our minds, let's compile a little wish list.
It's not
for
fresh in
Series
mine, but
3,
it's a good reminder.
Starting with wish number 1. Next time round, less gurning.
No, don't
And by
do
gurning,
nothing.
I mean this.
Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters!
Little ghosts.
Alright? Less of that. I know Doctor Who has always been an eccentric, and fair enough, Tom Baker used to play him as the sort of man you wouldn't want to... Well, you wouldn't have to use a bath towel after him.
Touch one wire against the other.
But poor old David Tennant, who I think is great in all other respects, seems to have been encouraged to ramp up the goofiness until he becomes perilously close to being one of those archetypal, annoying, wacky characters
I think it
from
worked,
a
though.
bad US sitcom.
God, they know how to party.
And as for comedy sequences like this,
Scooby-Doo run.
if you ask the Chuckle Brothers to do that, they just go,
To be fair, that episode's not a good example.
I don't want Doctor Who.
It's a good
bumming
example of your
around
theory,
like he's in a
but
bad
not of the
Tiswas
show.
tribute, okay? I want him being brooding and serious.
Hold on.
Wish number 2, be less knowing, because
He also settles in
occasionally
more
this series, the
in the next
Doctor
few
has
series.
behaved like a bit of a, oh, I've seen
To
it
be
all
fair.
before, sort of arse. Oh, it's space!
Oh, it's a sanctuary base.
Wish number 3, cut the cheese. Okay, it's a good thing that New Who is more emotional than Old Who. Sometimes this series it's been genuinely moving. But rather than tugging your heartstrings occasionally and for great effect, Series 2 seemed to perpetually be yanking at them, which left it looking mawkish. Well, not mawkish, just mork, whatever bloody hell mork is.
Yeah.
This mean that the Olympic dream is dead? There's a mystery man. He's picked up the flame. And we have no idea.
That show's
who he is.
ridiculous.
He's carrying the flame. Yes, he's carrying the flame, and no one wants to stop him.
I think he gets more what he wants.
It's more
as
than
the
a
show
flame
goes
now,
on.
Bob. It's more than heat and light. It's hope, and it's courage, and it's love.
Anyway, my final wish is a very simple one. Stop messing up the end credits.
A marriage made in... Well, you'll have to wait 170 days to
Oh, I
find
didn't
out.
get that.
Doctor Who returns to BBC One
But yeah, I
with
can
The
imagine
Runaway
it's annoying.
Bride at Christmas.
Oh, what is the point of getting an orchestra to record a great version of the Doctor Who theme tune and then getting someone in to jabber all over the top of it?
Yeah,
Talk
I
about
agree.
putting the into continuity. Let's see how they like it if I talk all over them.
Time is up. Doomsday has arrived now on BBC One. But is it goodbye?
Anyway, that's what I'd like to see from the next series of Doctor Who. That and an episode where the Doctor gets a rash on his bum.
I don't think that happened.
Oh, it seems every other
I think he mostly
documentary
got
on
what he
TV
wanted, though.
these days is little more than an excuse for titillation, doesn't it, eh? History of Club 1830, please. Let's recall the time when docs were docs, proper docs with learned men, all of which are available as DVD box sets. First up, Civilization, Lord Clark's highly respected overview of the history of Western civilization, which provided the template for other highbrow documentaries to follow. Intended to showcase the as-then new technology of colour television 37 years after it was first broadcast, it's still a feast for the eyes and brain today. Next, The Ascent of Man, Jacob Bronowski's superb trek through the ages of science. Just as watchable now as it was then, it's a bit like taking a warm bath in university juice, with the occasional stoner freak-out sequence lobbed in for good measure.
I don't think I want university juice.
If the still point in the string, the node, does not come at one of these exact points, the sound is discordant.
Finally, The World at War, an epic and heart-rending history of the Second World War, worth buying for Laurence Olivier's gracious and affecting voiceover alone.
Down this road, on a summer day in 1944, the soldiers came.
I once watched the whole thing over a single weekend following a messy breakup. Don't know if it helped at all, but it's a bloody good documentary.
Fair enough.
Now here's philosopher Jamie White, who wants to talk to you about adverts.
Oh, great.
Advertisers aren't stupid. They know what to appeal to. And so you can tell, for example, what people value. So you don't see very many advertisements these days that appeal to people's desire to be respectable, for example, or to be sober. It's all about being sexy and fun and healthy. And
so when it's in 2006, I can imagine
naturalness or nature.
I'd like to hear him talk
worshipped.
about it in 2025.
And so a lot of products are promoted on the grounds that
or it's
they
2007.
are natural.
One of you.
Something is natural if you get it as you would find it in nature, unmanipulated by man's influence.
I smelled it earlier.
I saw a Jordan's ad recently that had the theme back to nature and the lovely pictures of the countryside and so on, as if this product is somehow very natural. But you don't find packets of cereal in nature. You might say that all the ingredients of the cereal packet are natural,
You know what I
but
find
these
in
are
nature.
unnatural collections of natural stuff, and that's all there can ever be, unless you want to eat butterflies and apples off trees and so on.
That's 2006.
It's the idea that natural's good that's so silly. Cars are very good in my opinion, whereas syphilis is not.
Correct.
The other peculiar trick is to say that you're more or less something without saying than what. There's an advertisement for Colgate toothpaste which says that using Colgate toothpaste reduces plaque by 98%. Is that compared with not brushing your teeth at all, or is it compared with brushing it with a different toothpaste? Perhaps, I don't know, but perhaps scraping my teeth with a wire brush would reduce plaque by 98%. Unless I get this information in the advertisement, I'm none the wiser. These statistics also often display something I call spurious rigour. 9.5% or something. Well, if it's 9.5%, it must have been worked out scientifically, right? No one just made that up.
They definitely made it up.
Currently advertises, I think, on the grounds that eating cornflakes makes you 9% more alert.
Kids are on average 9% more alert.
I looked up on the website to work out what this could mean and was very helpfully informed that actually there are a lot of other findings from the research too. Children who had cornflakes were 17% less emotionally distressed or something like that. But what is this measure of
I don't know,
emotional
man.
distress,
Good point,
which
though.
admits for precise degrees like 17% more or less? If you were to have a history of advertising, it might be something a bit like a history of stupidity.
Oh no.
Jeremy Carl was born in
God.
London in 1965. Educated at Reading Bluecoat School, then Surrey University, Carl spent the next 10 years of his life on the road working in recruitment and sales. Carl became a dad in 1990. 6 years later, a friend told Carl he had a good voice for radio. He decided to make a tape. In 1996, aged 31, Carl began his broadcasting career on Kent's Invicta FM. He moved to Orchard FM later that same year. 1997 saw him move to Birmingham's BRMB station, presenting Late and Live, Sunday to Friday, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. In 2001, Carl moved to the Century FM network, taking his Late and Live show with him. 1st of July 2002, Carl hits the big time on Virgin Radio, presenting Jazz's Virgin Confessions, 8 to midnight weekdays.
Oh, you're listening to the German...
In a bizarre incident, Carl's show was cut short one evening when 3 monsters burst into the studio and pissed on him.
Yeah!
Somebody bring in and help me! Does anyone listen? Please call the police!
That's what you fucking deserve, Jeremy.
Fast forward to today, and the Jeremy Kyle Show secures a 34% audience share in its slot on ITV,
Not
attracting
anymore.
up to 1.5 million very thick viewers.
Jesus Christ.
Well done, Kyle.
Now, it's been
Alright.
a while since I watched Britain's top soaps, but for the purposes of this show, I decided to return, like a long-lost illegitimate son, to see what's changed since I was last around. First port of call, EastEnders, the BBC's everyday tale of unrealistic, ugly folk. Now, at first glance, it seems not much has changed, although it's a bit more French than I remember.
That's smart.
Don't mind.
Would you prefer a lager?
No, Martin, that's une lager. Still, at least the buildings are the same. Take the car lot. In real life, that would have been bulldozed to make way for a Nando's Chicken Land years ago. Now it's Quadrophenia Motors. All the businesses in Albert Square function as hand-me-downs. People just inherit them, like old sweaters.
It's convenient.
Speaking of old sweaters...
Oh,
yeah, it's good to have some familiar faces to cling to. Phil Mitchell's still grunting his way around the square with a head like a scalded bollock.
I've got to get me laughs from somewhere, haven't I?
Ian Beale's just as popular as ever.
I'm telling you to shove it. You're lucky I'll smack you up and bash you in the microwave.
And Jim
Fuck.
Brown still looks like a 95-year-old Tom York. Anyway, since I was last here, a bunch of futuristic newcomers have arrived, like this grumpy bugger, Bradley, whose hair seems to be competing with his cheeks to see which can look the reddest. Thankfully, the show seems to have dropped its tedious obsession with gangsters, which was what made me stop watching in the first place, although some things remain the same. Yes, Walford's still a world of unremitting squalor in which everyone communicates by shouting.
Don't you care that he's bunking?
All right, mate.
What? Well, while you're soaking up the sun, I'm left here trying to pay for everything at home.
At least it's better than being a dried-up, sour-faced, rancorous old boots.
Shut up! Stop shouting at her!
Since it started, EastEnders has
Little girl,
prided
that's a
itself
show.
on its realism, but what realism? Exactly. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good point.
sometimes it reflects real-world events like the World Cup.
Well, at least we haven't got to play Germany in the next round.
Yet Walford must have been the only part of London that didn't take part in the recent July the 7th commemoration. Although, weirdly, they did find time to mention Bastille Day.
Yeah.
Bastille Day?
Au revoir.
And in tackling social issues, it largely ignores current events that affect the real East End in favour of more pressing concerns like the widespread problem of hungover nurses.
I can't seem to find a vein. Maybe the tourniquet needs time.
They end up
Student
acknowledging.
nurse Fowler, I'll take over.
They end up acknowledging the coronavirus
Oh,
at all.
does the bewildered look quite like our Sonia?
Have you been drinking?
No.
I can smell alcohol on you.
What?
All right, hard ass. It's only a bit of liquid fun.
Yeah.
Sonia. Why am I being singled out here?
Because this isn't just an isolated incident. These last few months, your
Have
work...
you been drinking?
What?
I can smell it on your breath. Have you been drinking again?
No.
Oh, hark at the human breathometer.
Quite frankly, you're a liability.
Oh,
So I've got no choice but to send you home.
got him.
If you've been affected by any of the issues in that clip, call the National Drunk Nurse Helpline on 0828...
Yes, when it comes down to it, EastEnders is so unlike the actual East End, it might as well be set in Narnia. The real East End has got Hawksmoor churches and fashionable nightclubs and a thriving Bangladeshi community. Walford's just got Keith Miller swabbing windows with a rag on a stick.
Dedicated my whole life to it, haven't I?
Actually, that rag on a stick might be one of these new characters, I'm not sure. Anyway, despite all that, EastEnders has definitely improved since I last tuned in. Just sitting through a few episodes has got me hooked all over again by osmosis, even if, like my glaring alcohol addiction, it ultimately won't bring me happiness. Or anyone else, come to that.
I don't like you. Rebecca. You make everyone sad. Leave us alone.
Isn't life fantastic? You've got the looks, the clothes, the money. You are living the dream, my friend. Except you're not, are you? The
No.
dream's just that, a dream. Real life doesn't work like that. Real life's
Not the
a
right one
knotty
for a
old
dream,
mess
Finn.
full of graft and tedium and unexpected kicks to the nuts, spiritually speaking. So how come half the time your TV's smothered with glittering nitwits like that. No. You know what I'm talking about. Modern aspirational TV. You're supposed to want to be like the youths from the Shiny Happy OC, and it works. You do. Yes, you do. Stop lying. You do. Aspirational. Aspirational. It's a term that crops up time and time again in commissioning briefs. In the minds of TV execs, viewers don't simply want to watch things. Oh, no. They want to aspire to be them. The thinking goes that if you watch the glittering world, you'll feel like you're part of it. Even though you aren't, of course. You're just a pleb gawping at a box.
Oh,
just a poop. I want to be like the pretty people on the television, Dotty. Ooh. In a sense, 'twas ever thus. Adverts have always depicted an aspirational lifestyle, be it a vision of suburban, coffee-slurping smugitude, or a world of unreal fantasy. It's their job to dazzle you with images that make you feel inadequate, then offer a magic solution. They're selling you a membership card. Buy this car, or use this shampoo, or drink this booze. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be part of the glamour gang too, for about 30 seconds, until they try and flog you something else. The monsters! But it wasn't long before the aspirational virus leaked out of the adverts and infected the programmes themselves. I first became aware of it back in the 80s, when shows like Dallas did their level best to make you feel suicidally inadequate for not being a billionaire tycoon. I was a mere stripling at the time, but even then I was left with a sense that I could never compete, that no matter how hard I tried in life, I'd never match up to the chandelier-shagging anointed ones.
JR, you are the daddy.
In those days, the focus was money. Today, it's every aspect of your life. Everywhere you look, it's, hey, look how thin the housewives are, you should lose a few pounds. They enjoy a load of dick and shoes, why don't you? And, wouldn't it be nice to get on like the cast of Friends? But this is fantasy. Reality just doesn't compare.
Oh.
Normal life damp and grey by comparison. No wonder everybody's miserable. And I mean literally everybody. Look. Look at him, he's miserable. So's she and him. Now that is misery. Trouble is, while aspirational adverts at least serve a purpose, i.e. selling you stuff, aspirational programming doesn't. It just feeds the void, the sense of lack, the gulf between them and you. It stokes it up and up and up like a low self-esteem engine until finally, where can you turn for a solution? Where do you think? The solution being, change yourself. Yeah, toss your wardrobe out, wear the same uniform as the rest of us. Or, look how smouldering and happy Nigella is, maybe cookery will save you. Or, saw your face off and get it remade properly. Yeah, maybe that'll help, maybe then you'll fit in. Surely it's a rum state of affairs when TV actively encourages you to hack yourself apart in the name of self-worth. I mean, hacking up a stranger, okay, that I can understand. But this is just sick! Seems to me our aspirational parameters are all out of whack. OK, for the sake of argument, let's say you get the money, you get the looks, you get the fashion. Congratulations, you've become this little tit.
Caesar's Palace. Caesar's Palace. Game's on.
And surprise, surprise, all the other aspirants hate you.
You got, it's the highest ever.
Oh,
just tell you, honestly, 91.6%.
You're joking. Anyway, balls to aspiration, it's a tosser's mirage. Far better to just sit here and sneer at the lot of it, isn't it, eh? That's what we like to do, isn't it, eh? Have a good sneer, eh? Hey, that cheers us up, doesn't it, eh? Bit of camaraderie like that, yeah? On you, I'll put a smile on your face. We're all right, ain't we, mate, yeah? On next week's show, housemates versus Hitler. Who's worse?
Whoa.
And we offer some would-be celebrities their very own 40 seconds of fame.
I feel like I've seen that.
It's not going to be you.
Is that the episode I watched last year? Let's look that up. Because I watched an episode less than 23. It might have been that one. I feel like I've seen him use the Requiem for a Dream theme before. I saw something similar to that before. I think he's definitely used it before. I love that theme. It's so great. That movie's... I think, yeah, it's launched me in a conversation about that movie before. That's one of the most fucked up movies of all time, if you've never seen it. It was also, that theme was also used in a really good Lord of the Rings trailer. I think it was the Two Towers. They used that as well. So the episode I watched in 23 was indeed that. It was Series 2, Episode 2, the one after this. So I've already seen Series 2, Episode 2. So next time on this, we'll do Series 2, Episode 3. But that is it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you. I want to actually go back to his Doctor Who stuff real quick. I get what he was talking about. I have to be honest. I think he mostly got what he wanted as the show went on. I disagree a little bit. I don't think. Yes, Tenet was hamming it up, but I don't think it was necessarily a bad thing in the show. I think it added to the character. I can see why he didn't like it because he's a cynic. But for me personally, I don't think it was necessarily a bad thing how Tenet hammed it up for the role. I think it worked for the role. But mostly, I think he got what he wanted as the show went on, because while Tenet did settle in really well, while Tenet did settle in really well, I think obviously he got better as it went on. He definitely got better as it went on. Yeah, that is going to do it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like. If you didn't like it, don't. If you want to follow any of my social media links, they're all in the video descriptions, as names on my Patreon. So you didn't know, you can be a patron of me for as little as $1 £1. You get extra correction videos, as well as reading comments with dear, like sometimes more. With all being said, though, my name is Hefferstein. Has been my, what is this, 7th total reaction to Charlie Brooker's Screenwipe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.